Welcome to our game showcase. We will be showing you our process on creating Luminaxore left behind a spaceman using GameMaker. We are your game developers. My name is Shamra Ken and Konsenko.
And I am Ronald Avniter Ramos.
Hello, I'm Russell Agustin.
I'm Kurt Tizon.
And you are watching the behind the making of the game. Whoa! Is this a game title screen? Then the story, instructions, a game over screen, and an ending screen? How was this possible?
It's possible all thanks to rooms, one of the main function in GameMaker. Each room had different background and each room has an visible object with each similar GML visual code. Such as the starting room, pressing space will go to the story room. Pressing left and right will toggle between the story room and the instruction room. If the player dies, it goes to the game over room, and if the player reaches the portal, it goes to the finish room.
Running of the game is actually possible with viewports. The main function is that you can only see a part of the game when in reality without enabling the viewport, the game would be too small and too long to see.
Now let's talk about the player. With the help of the platformer tutorial provided by the game maker itself, this is how we created movement of our spaceman, with the main event code using the move and collide. We also added a health bar with itself set on 100, and each enemy and spikes has a collision event that decreasing the health until it turns into 0. Once it hits 0, it will automatically go to the game over screen as Kurt mentioned. We also created an invincible frame, or also known as immunity frame, where our player will not die immediately when colliding with the enemy, created by making a variable basically expressing if the character was hit or not. The variable becomes true, the health and the capacity will decreases. Then an alarm event that count down and turn the variable into false again.
There is also a small little helper following the player. Its main function is to follow the mouse with the variable point direction, and it's targeting the mouse X and Y value, as well as the variables declaring the angle difference and image angle. And the best part? The drone can shoot bullets whenever the mouse is left clicked. You can point the mouse to the enemies and boom! Each enemy colliding with a bullet will be destroyed and points will be added to the score that's indicated on the draw event with visible objects. But how about the following part? Well, that's because the sprite of the player's X and Y was declared in a variable inside the step event of the player itself.
Now let's move on to our enemies. We have different kind of enemies. We have a rover enemy, where its functions are going back and forth, and it moves things with a speed variable in a solid invisible wall, where it can bounce off with a coding move bounce solid, and it's set to false. The bot enemies with a similar coding to the bots, except it moves like a wave, and that's because of this coding. Where it moves in a sine wave, there is another bot that moves up and down, and that's because the speed was set on the y direction. We have two shooting enemies, one that shoot 3 bullets straight up, inspired by the space shooter. In its main event, it's creating bullet instances, and an alarm event to make the intervals of when the enemies will shoot. The same coding applied to this enemy, but this time, it has the variable point direction, and it's targeting the player's X and Y value.
The rest of the gameplay will be added shortly after the outro. But let us talk about the little extra bits. We have spikes that has the same function of enemies that hurts the player, except it doesn't move. Pitfalls are the exact same coding of the spikes, except it is hidden and the player dies immediately. Coins. Each coins collected adds 5 points to the score, while stars gives 100 points. This cool effect added in the game over screen. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching our little game showcase, and I hope you enjoy my gameplay on the actual game.